Suntem din nou în direct de la GoTech World, aici unde tehnologia cea mai nouă este disponibilă publicului vizitator din România. Sunt speakeri internaționali, foarte multe companii care au venit să expună cea mai nouă tehnologie și hai să intrăm direct în discuția noastră, o discuție interesantă. Alături de mine sunt doi reprezentanți ai companiei Genpact. O să vi prezint imediat. Am rugămintea însă să trecem la limba engleză, pentru că unul dintre ei nu este din România, așa că mă voi adresa în engleză. E vorba despre Sorin Popescu, AI Transformation Leader. Hello, nice to have you here. And Jack Singh, Enterprise Architect. Hello, Jack, nice to have you here. Nice to meet you as well. Thank you for being here. And Jack, I will start with you. In your role, you're bridging architecture and transformation. Can you describe how you think about the architecture of transformation? What comes first? What comes next?
Sure. Thank you for the question. Very interesting question at this stage. And several of our customers are asking us the same questions. We are a process transformation company, as you may have heard. And process always comes first for us. So the question that you asked was, how do I layer it up? We always would layer it up by process blueprinting, how the processes are going to actually work with different people. And only after the process blueprinting is over, that's when we will go ahead and apply technology on top of it. Technology, any kind of technology, we started with cloud and now we are doing AI, agentic, etc. It is always going to be secondary for us. Process comes first for us. Technology remains agnostic.
Good. And you were speaking about AI, so Sorin, I will address you next, because one of Genpact's recent strategic moves was the acquisition of exponential data to deepen the AI capabilities. Now, how does that enable you and your team to deliver different outcomes for clients in EMEA?
Yeah, that's a great question, and look, super excited about the team in Kosovo that we now have as part of the Genpact family. 100 brilliant minds, great technical prowess that we observed over there. And now, to answer your question, the fundamental benefit that we're aiming for with that acquisition is to speed up the AI deployments that we have for our clients. And obviously, we get a big boost of very, very talented workforce that will enable that for us next year. So looking forward to a lot more AI deployments for our clients as a consequence of that.
That's quite an exciting perspective. Now, Jack, let's talk about systems like Scout and MyTwin, because for these kind of systems there is a dual challenge. Building the infrastructure and driving adoption. What have you found are the biggest blockers on the people and process side, and how are you designing around them?
Sure. Again, very interesting question once again, and very, very common question. I don't think we get constrained by technology, but we get constrained by how people use the technology. Since it's new right now, we get constrained by something called process inertia, which is the traditional way of how people are used to executing things, running their processes, etc. I think people should look at it more as an enabler rather a threat. And as we go along, we do several things across the board. First of all, we host a variety of training where we educate people on how AI is going to be an enabler. We also enable people to build AI themselves. And these are people who are process experts, so they understand how they can leverage AI to their advantage. I think the value prop curve for everyone who is an AI user is growing up day by day, but I think it's a process that's going to take some time. Just like we got used to traditional technologies and it was a wave, now we are at a curve right now. I think the same thing is going to happen with AI as well. Yeah.
Everything is changing really fast, but this is also quite exciting.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Sorin, you spoke at GoTech about what it takes to scale transformation. From your experience, what are the 3 most critical elements leaders must get right beyond technology to move from pilot to full rollout?
All right, that's a good question that I think everybody's considering nowadays, how to speed things up and see a lot more reality of the AI hype which is out there. So obviously these cycles that you mentioned, right, from pilot to production and to reality are super important. I think a few things come to mind for people to consider. I think the number one will be the knowledge that the organization has when it comes to AI and generally technical topics. I think that's super important. If I'm to look at us as a company, we started by doing that. We're, I think, by now close to 100,000 people, right, which are trained on AI at a level that enables them to do the work in a different manner. And I think organizations often miss this step and they go straight into deployment. I think this is my number one, learning of AI by the whole organization. I think then probably I would move into things pertaining to the culture of the organization, which is, in my mind, obviously, the more nimble the organization, the better, to be able to deal with the rollout and the findings in a rollout. And probably lastly, I would say, often people see AI as the enemy, and it's always this battle of humans against the machines and so on. I think if we keep this paradigm apart for a second, people realize actually a lot of the benefits behind the technology, and then they're able to apply their own thinking and use it.
Yeah, let's
these are the most important things.
Let's switch from fight mode to partnership mode because it will benefit us all, right? Jack, looking ahead, like say 3 to 5 years, when we return to this stage, what will transformation and Genpact look like, and what shifts will have occurred in the architecture, the business model, and the human-tech interface?
Yeah. So I would like to repeat what the chief agentic officer of our company said once to me, and that really stuck out for me, that we are the first of the humans who are working with agents together. We are obviously foreseeing, we are hearing from analysts, etc., that agentic AI is going to be more and more prevalent. How Genpact is going to involve is, I think we need to bring the human part of it into AI. That's where we'll work the most. We will work to familiarize people with AI and the way they apply into business. I think the way we execute process and the fact that we are a process experts company, that's going to remain the same. We'll still do transformation. It's going to be a technology element which will work along the side with the human element. I think that's what is going to happen in the next 2 to 3 years from now, is the way I see it.
That's a very interesting perspective, and I'm looking forward to testing in a couple of years to see how everything went.
Absolutely.
Sorin, the world is definitely moving fast. We were just talking about that, generative AI, agentic systems, full stack engineering. How does Genpact balance innovation speed with responsible implementation, especially at scale?
All right. I think that's a very fair question nowadays, and I would split my answer in 2 parts. When it comes to, say, the businesses of our clients that touch consumers, that would be one part, and the businesses which are more business to business in nature. I think for the consumer world, there is a different set of attributes that you have to consider when deploying AI to make sure that from a sustainability perspective, ethics and everything is in there. That's why obviously as a company we have a big playbook of ethical AI deployments and what we need to consider in order to make sure that things don't go south with AI, and that's a very valid thing that we need to keep in mind. And that goes for the consumer world. I would say for business world that it's a slightly different nuance than for the consumers. I think for the business world, the ethic is really to have the precision at the level wherein actually businesses can thrive, meaning you cannot operate with 80% accuracy in finance, for example, right? Obviously, that will end up with a disaster. So I would say beyond the typical ethics that you see, generally speaking, for business, we need to add a few things, especially around the precision of the AI work, because certain domains require maximum precision, and we have to cater for that. So we have a playbook for deploying AI with a lot of ethics considerations, of course, but I would say further to that, we need to be mindful in the business world to apply it with a lot of precision to get the right outcomes.
That is definitely something to keep in mind for the future. Thank you to both of you for such useful information.
Appreciate your time. Yeah.
Vă mulțumim și dumneavoastră că ne-ați urmărit. Revenim live în foarte scurt timp de aici, de la GoTech World. Pe curând!